Hello, math students, and welcome to our fourth video. We are still working in Module 1, Ratios and Proportional Relationships. Proportional and non-proportional relationships using tables. So we learned a little bit about this in the previous lesson, but we're going to go a little bit further today. It is Lesson 4, Proportional and Non-Proportional Relationships Using Tables. Our goal today, we are going to make sure that we know how to make tables that are proportional. The question that you must remember is, what must your table show to prove that the scenario is proportional? I'm pretty sure that you will be able to tell me that answer by the time we get done. You may already be able to tell me the answer just from remembering yesterday's lesson. So the things that we're going to do to start out on our things to learn is we'll start with a task. Bella types at a constant rate of 42 words per minute. Create a table to show the relationship. So we know that in 1 minute, she can type 42 words. So we built a table, and we remembered that this is the input side of the table. So these are the different amounts that get put in, and this is the output side of the table. And my ink is running dry, so I have to change my pen. I apologize for that. Let's write this again. This side is the input side. This side is the output side. And then typically, most of the time, we know this as the X value, and typically, or most of the time, we know this as the Y value, okay? So basically, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to figure out how to fill in the missing values. And so what we remember is it's giving us a little rule right here. The rule is per 1. Well, if you remember, anything that is per 1 is known as your unit rate. And that's really, really important because if you know the unit rate, then you know the value of what you have to multiply everything by, because you ask yourself, how did I get from 1 to 42? Well, that's simple. I multiplied by 42 to get there. So that tells us right there what everything has to be all the way down the chart, because we are trying to make a proportional relationship. And if you remember from the last lesson, in order for it to be proportional, every single input value has to be multiplied by the same thing. So since we multiplied 1 by 42, then we're going to multiply 2 by 42, 3 by 42, 4 by 42, 5 by 42, 6 by 42, and 60 by 42. We have to take each value in the table and we have to multiply it by the one that 1 was multiplied by. All right, so that means we have to do some math. Okay, so 42 times 2, not too bad. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8. So now I know that this is 84. So that means that Bella can type 84 words in 2 minutes. Now let's see how many words she can do in 3 minutes. So we take 42, we multiply it by 3, that's 6, and that's 12. So she can type 126 words in 3 minutes. Now let's see how many she can do at 4. 2 times 4 is 8, 4 times 4 is 16. So she can type 168 words in 4 minutes. How many in 5? Now, some of you are thinking, Mrs. Nelson, why don't you just add 42 again? Kiddos, you can totally do that. Let me finish this one. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So that would be 210. So what I was talking about is some of you are saying, well, why don't you just add 42? Well, as long as the numbers are increasing by 1, that will work. But what do you see right here that it increased by 10? So we can't just add 42, because to get from 6 to 60, you have to multiply it by 10. So I just like to do it this way because it gives me clear my head, get my new input, multiply it by 42, and then I know that I'll be safe. So 42 times 6 is 12. Regroup the 1. 6 times 4 is 24, 25. So I know in 6 minutes she can type 252 minutes or words, and now I want to know if it was a whole hour, because you remember there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So if she's working away for an entire hour, how many words could she type? Well, you do the same thing and multiply. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. Placeholder. 6 times 2 is 12. Regroup the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. So now I have, adding together, 0, 2, 5, 2. I know that in 1 whole hour, she can type 2,520 words. Holy moly, that's a lot of words, okay? So she's pretty good at typing. We're not really too interested in her actual ability to type. What we're trying to do, kiddos, is to show how we can make a proportional relationship. And so we have to ask ourselves this question. What is the constant? The constant is 42. Now, I want to talk about this cloud for a minute because you see this little m. This little m, whenever you see it in math, the m stands for the amount multiplied by the input value. The amount multiplied by the input value. So it's telling you what the constant is. So m stands for the constant amount of change, or what you're multiplying it by. So whenever you see the m, you're going to say m and whatever you wrote right here to get your answers. So the constant amount of change for this one is 42. Okay, so now we're doing pretty good. We're feeling like we've got a proportional relationship. We know it's proportional because every number in the table, we multiplied it by 42. And then they go and ask us this question right here. How many words can Bella type in 10 minutes? Remember, this says minutes. So looking at your table, which side does the 10 go on? Well, if you say this side, you are correct. So we're just going to put a 10 right there and see what happens. So what was our rule that we had to do? Multiply by 42. So there you go. And now I'm going to come over here where I can show my work. So 42 times 10, 0 times 2, 0 times 4, placeholder, 1 times 2, 1 times 4, and then I add those together, and I get 420. So in 10 minutes, she can type 420 words. So right here, we're going to write 420 words. Okay? All right? And then the next question asks, how many words in 60 minutes? Well, kiddos, we already did it. Look. Dun, da, da, da. It's right here. 60 minutes. You already did that when you were filling out the table. You already showed your work, so we get to write the answer. How many words can she type in 60 minutes? She can type 2,520 words. Boom, done. That was not difficult, was it? Okay? And remember, if you're doing option 2 in your notes, you need to have these 2 answers written down in the answers or the question answer section for Mrs. Nelson. So don't forget to write those down, and also don't forget to show me the work because I need to see your brain thinking. All right, kiddos, how are we feeling so far? A lot of information, except it's been pretty simple, so we can harness it and remember it. Okay, so now it's your turn. Taking a look at this page, it says, now it's your turn. The task that I want you to complete is Mark recently moved to a new state. During the first month, he visited 5 state parks. Each month after that, he visited 2 more. Okay, so during the first month, he visited 5 parks. But then the second month, he did 2 more than the ones before. So I'm trying to get you to see what happens. So the first month he visited 5. The second month he only did 2 more, which would be 7. The third month, if he did 2 more from before, what would he have? 9. Very good. Okay. And then this direction right here says make a table to see if the number of parks visited is proportional to the number of months. So we're going to finish this table, and then you are going to have to tell me if it's proportional or not. Okay. So the 4th month, it was 2 more parks than before. So what number would that be? 2 more from 9. So if you said 11, good job. 2 more from 11. If you said 13, excellent. 2 more from 13. Yep, you got it, 15. 2 more from 15. That is correct, 17. 2 more from 17. Awesome job. That would be 19. 2 more from 19. Absolutely correct. That would be 21. 2 more from 21, 23. You got it. And 2 more from 23. is 25, and 2 more from 25 is 27. All right, we got them all done. Thanks for your help. Okay, so now our job is to ask ourselves, how did we get from one to the other, to see if we can find one constant amount that we multiply or divide the input number, remember this is the input amount, the input value, to get the output value. We're going to see if it's proportional. That means that it would be the correct amount. So how did we get from 1 to 5? Well, the answer to that's pretty simple, times 5. Uh-oh. What is 2 times 5? That is correct. 2 times 5 is 10. So already, what do we know about the table? The table is not a proportional relationship, and the reason why it's not a proportional relationship is because right here, our constant value falls apart, because 2 times 5 equals 10. 2 times 5 equals 10, not 7. Okay? And so there's our proof right there that this table is not proportional. Okay? All right, kiddos. A lot of fun stuff. Not too difficult, I don't think, as long as you remember what we're focusing on. So the goal today, we are going to make sure that we know how to make tables that are proportional. So if we remember that we have to use the constant value all the way down for them to be proportional. What must your table show to prove the scenario is proportional? Well, we just did. Look at this one. We said this one is proportional, but this one is not proportional. So what was the amount, or what was the thing that was available to prove whether it was proportional or not? You need to answer that question in the question answer sections of option 2, or you can answer it in your notes in option 1. All right, kiddos, I'm going to leave that up to you to answer that question for me. Hopefully you're paying attention. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.